now in the studio, Andrew Theising, the director of the Institute of Urban Research, right here locally at the Southern Illinois University Edwardsville campus. Thank you for being here. Let's kind of bounce off of that because we had a Twitter comment too that the Metrolink is a little underutilized, maybe a little under-recognized in that it's under the ground. How much does transit play a role in tonight's conversation?
I think transit plays a gigantic role and a very important role because the key to any economic success is getting people with disposable income to the places that have stuff to buy and sell and enjoy. And so having a good transit system helps people come down, enjoy the amenities of downtown, while they can also return to wherever they're comfortable.
Okay, so do we still buy and sell much in downtown? Because we know we just lost our Macy's, but they had a lot of history in downtown. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, every downtown serves a social, economic, and political purpose. And society's changing, and the economy's changing, and government's changing, but downtown, we're still driving on the roads that were mapped out 100 years ago or more, and we're still using some of the same buildings and infrastructure, so we have to be very creative in how we reuse these wonderful assets. So whether it's transportation, we need to keep up and adapt to new transportation. If we have different kinds of retail, we need to adapt and offer those different kinds of retail. Maybe we move out of traditional structures and we move into street vendors more. Or sometimes like the mobile food vehicles, you know, there's bringing food to people, which is a wonderful idea and something new and different. So Macy's, the old Macy's store might represent an old way of doing business, and I think consumers today might expect something different.
Okay, so you studied downtown. You've been in the New York Times, you've been on the NewsHour, you've been a contributor and author to several books about our region. I'm curious yourself, you live in the Metro East perhaps?
Nope, I live in Des Peres.
Okay, so your relationship to downtown, how do you, as someone who studies this, how does it come into your life?
I love downtown, I love the institutions downtown, any excuse to make a trip downtown. It's fun, it's enjoyable. Came downtown for fireworks over the 4th of July. It's a wonderful asset. I love being here.
And is it important? We've heard people say, I posed at the beginning of the show that it was. We've heard people back that up. Do you agree? And if so, I'm guessing you're going to say yes. But if you do agree that it's important to the entire region, tell me why. Help me believe that, because Clayton is doing pretty good by itself over there as its own business district. So is Chesterfield Valley looks pretty healthy as well from a pure money standpoint.
There are lots of success stories around the region that we can point to, but there's only one downtown. And you know, this baseball stadium that's downtown, that serves Metro East. That's St. Charles County's baseball team too. And in St. Louis counties, we all share that. We all share the Gateway Arch. We all share the wonderful museums and the assets that are in and around downtown.
So is it a problem if they're only coming downtown for those things, or is that just the time when that neighborhood, as it's been described, is inviting guests in?
A little bit of both. I think that we have to keep in mind that consumers are always going to be changing their mind. There's nothing that we can do that's going to have 20 or 30-year impact because consumer choices change too much during that time. But what we can do is keep up with these consumer choice, these changes in consumer choice. And what I really think we could do that would be very smart is to be more adaptable. Someone talked about the importance of leadership, and it does come down to leadership. Good leadership that is nimble and that has the resources to invest to keep up with change. Successful cities keep up with change.
Okay, so are we nimble enough? And can you give me an example of what you mean by that?
The first example that comes to my mind about being nimble is actually an old example from St. Louis, but when it had to do with graffiti. Graffiti, there was a team that would respond immediately and clean it and get rid of it. And that's the kind of fast response. I mean, today we're in the social media age, and it would be nice every time there's some kind of a negative report coming out about St. Louis. It would sure be nice if we could respond to it immediately and stay on top of that and put the positive side of downtown out there, or the positive side of St. Louis. I'm a firm believer, let's not underestimate a good marketing plan. Because if we hear enough of the bad news, we start believing it. But you know what? If we start putting our good stuff out there, people are going to believe that.
Narrative is something we've talked about more than once on this show, and I'm starting to believe that that's going to be something we're hearing about more. Okay, we have 30 seconds. Give me your vision for the next 10, 15, 20, however far you'd like to take it. What do you see downtown as in the future?
I think downtown is on the rise. I think we have 10 or 20 very good years ahead of us downtown. I think there's wonderful investment on the horizon, both public and private, and that's a very important mix to have. I think that St. Louis is poised to have something of national or even global significance again. I think back to the Papal Visit or the Olympic Festival. I think that's in our future.